Welcome to another exciting video. We're thrilled to have you here. Today we're embarking on an intriguing journey into the realm of football. But not just any football. We're exploring 10 illegal skills that have caused quite the stir on the pitch. If you're a fan of the unexpected and the controversial, make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay updated with our captivating content. So, are you ready to dive into the world of illegal football skills? Buckle up because it's going to be a thrilling ride. Starting our countdown with the most obvious one, the handball. Yes friends, it's as straightforward as it sounds. The handball rule in football is a cardinal one. It's considered an illegal skill when a player intentionally uses their hand or arm to manipulate the ball's movements. This rule is not just about stopping players from catching the ball mid-air like a goalkeeper. It's about preserving the integrity of the game. Football, after all, is a game played with feet, and the handball rule ensures that it stays that way. If a player is seen using their hands or arms to gain an advantage, whether it's to block a shot, control a pass, or prevent an opponent from gaining possession, it's deemed a handball. The implications can be severe: penalties, free kicks, even red cards. So, players, be warned. Your hands are not your friends in this game. Remember, football is a game of feet, not hands. Moving on to our second illegal skill, the back pass. This rule is a little more nuanced than other infractions. Here's the scoop. It's a violation for a goalkeeper to use his hands to collect a ball that has been deliberately passed back to him by a teammate. Now the key word here is deliberately. If the ball is played back in a manner that's not intentional, like off a player's chest or head, the goalkeeper can pick it up. But if it's a clear, intentional pass with the foot, that's a no-go. This rule was introduced back in the early 90s to prevent time wasting and to encourage more skillful play. It's not always easy for referees to judge, and it's often a point of contention in heated matches. But remember, it's these intricacies that make football such a captivating sport. It can be tricky, but it's a rule that keeps the game fair and interesting. Next up is one rule that has caused many debates: the offside. The offside rule, ladies and gentlemen, is perhaps one of the most discussed and misunderstood aspects of football. In simple terms, a player is considered offside if they are nearer to the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second last opponent when the ball is played to them. But why is it considered illegal? Well, the offside rule is a critical component of the game that promotes fair play. It prevents what's known as goal hanging, a scenario where a player, usually an attacker, stays near the opponent's goal waiting for the ball. It ensures that the game remains competitive, with all players actively participating rather than just waiting around for an easy goal. The offside rule adds a strategic layer to football, requiring teams to carefully coordinate their moves and maintain a balanced formation. It's a rule that keeps the attackers on their toes. On to the next, a controversial one: diving. Now this is a term that gets thrown around quite a bit in the world of football. So what exactly is diving? Well, it's when a player intentionally falls or stumbles, pretending to be fouled by an opponent to gain an unfair advantage. It's considered an illegal skill in football, and for a good reason. Why is it seen as unsportsmanlike? Well, it's because football is a game of skill, strategy, and strength. It's not about who can put on the best performance or fool the referee. When a player dives, it undermines the integrity of the game, making it less about the skill on the pitch and more about theatrics. Severe penalties can follow a player caught diving. It could result in a yellow or even a red card, leading to suspensions, fines, and a tarnished reputation. Always remember, in football, the aim is to play fair and square. It's a game of skill, not acting. Halfway through our list, we have time wasting. Now this is a tactic as old as the game itself. Time wasting is when a team, usually in the lead, intentionally slows down the game to eat up the clock, preserving their advantage. Think of it like this. The team is in the driver's seat, cruising down the highway of victory, and they start to ease off the gas pedal, slowing the pace to ensure they reach their destination, a win. But there's a catch: it's illegal. Why? Well, it's not exactly in the spirit of the game. Football is about skill, strategy, and sportsmanship. Time wasting is seen as a sneaky way to secure a win, an unsportsmanlike strategy that undermines the competitive nature of the game. Referees penalize time wasting with a yellow card, a stern warning to teams to pick up the pace and play fair, because after all, time is of the essence in football. Moving forward, we have an illegal skill that jeopardizes safety: dangerous play. This refers to any action during the game that puts another player's safety at risk. It's a broad term that can encompass anything from a high boot to a reckless tackle. Football is a sport of skill and strategy, but it's also a physical game, and sometimes that physicality can cross the line into dangerous territory. But here's the deal. Football isn't just about winning, it's about respect, fair play, and above all, safety. The rules of the game are clear. Any move that could potentially harm another player is not allowed. It's important to remember that while football is competitive, it's not a battlefield. The health and well-being of the players should always take precedence over the outcome of the game. So, why is dangerous play illegal? Simply put, because football is a game, not a war. After all, it's just a game. Safety first. Coming up next is a common sight on the field. Shirt pulling. It's a tactic that some players resort to, but it's considered an illegal move in the beautiful game of football. It's when a player intentionally tugs on an opponent's shirt in an attempt to slow them down, disrupt their play, or even prevent them from receiving the ball. This tactic is often used as a last resort when a player is beaten for pace or skill, and it's seen as an act of desperation. However, it's not just frowned upon, it's against the rules. The referees are always on the lookout for shirt pulling, and it's penalized with a free kick, or in some cases a yellow card for unsportsmanlike conduct. While it may seem like a minor offense, it can drastically alter the outcome of a match. So, to all the budding footballers out there, remember this rule and respect the game. After all, it's a game of skill, not strength. Next on our list is a less obvious but important one: obstruction. For those not in the know, obstruction is an illegal skill in football that can be a bit tricky to identify on the field. It occurs when a player intentionally positions themselves in the path of an opponent to block their movement or sight of the ball, without making an attempt to play the ball themselves. It's like creating a human wall, if you will. Why is this considered illegal, you ask? Well, obstruction prevents a player from having a fair chance at playing the ball. It's a sneaky way to gain an advantage without actually demonstrating skill or sportsmanship. In essence, it disrupts the flow of the game and can be incredibly frustrating for the player being obstructed. In the spirit of good sportsmanship and respect for the beautiful game of football, remember this. Obstruction might seem like a clever move, but it's not in the spirit of the game. Play fair, play right. Concluding our list with another controversial one: simulation. If you're thinking this sounds like a video game, you're not entirely off the mark. In football, simulation is the act of pretending to be fouled or injured to deceive the referee. It's a theatrical display, a performance if you will, designed to gain an unfair advantage. While some may argue that it's a skill to be able to convincingly simulate a foul, it's considered illegal in football, and for good reason. It's fundamentally unsportsmanlike. It's a deceitful tactic that undermines the spirit of fair play. Referees are now armed with the power to penalize players for simulation, and rightfully so. Players caught simulating can face yellow cards, fines, and even suspensions. This is a clear message from the sport's governing bodies that in football, honesty is the best policy. Well, that was quite a ride, wasn't it? We've journeyed through the world of football, exploring 10 skills that, while intriguing, are strictly offside in the rule book. Let's take a moment to jog our memories. We began our exploration with the notorious handball, a move as old as the game itself. Then we delved into the murky waters of the back pass, a skill that's been known to turn games on their heads. We then tackled the contentious offside rule, followed by the theatrics of diving, a skill that's as controversial as it is captivating. Time wasting was next on our list, a skill that often teeters on the brink of gamesmanship and unsporting behavior. We also examined dangerous play, an aspect of the game that can mar its beauty when misused. This led us to shirt pulling, a sneaky tactic that can cost teams dearly if spotted by the sharp-eyed referee. Our journey continued with obstruction, a skill that requires a fine balance to avoid crossing the line of fair play. Finally, we ended with simulation, a skill that often sparks heated debates among fans and pundits alike. As we close, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Which of these skills stirs up the most controversy in your opinion? Which ones have you seen play out on the pitch? Remember, football is a game of skill, strategy, and sportsmanship. Play fair, play right. Until next time.